Daniel is sitting in the middle of a meeting, and everyone is congratulating him on opening another company. But Daniel knows that this happiness is just for show. Deep inside, he is worried, very worried. Suddenly, he thinks of something and calls his business rival, Victor, who was also his schoolmate, on a private number. He expresses his desire to meet him. Victor and Daniel fix a meeting at a hotel. Daniel arrives 5 minutes early and orders a juice. By mistake, waiter spills the juice on him, and Daniel lashes out at him with harsh insults. Poor waiter, with tears in his eyes and an apology on his lips, quietly leaves. Victor watches the whole incident unfold. After some formal conversation, he asks Daniel what's wrong. Daniel sighs and says, "Like me, you built a business empire from nothing, but in doing so, I lost my family, while you still live happily with yours. I've been married twice, have 2 children from each marriage, and both ended in divorce. The children I worked so hard for don't even ask about me. How did I fail in this field while you succeeded? How, my friend? Please tell me." Victor smiles and replies, "I'll tell you 2 things, and you'll see, slowly but surely, your problem will start to resolve." Daniel frowned and said, "Is it really that easy?" Victor smiled again and replied, "Yes, it's just that easy." "Then tell me," Daniel demanded. Victor leaned back and said, "My friend, I'm a businessman, and you know that everything has a price. Sign a check for $100,000, and I'll give you the keys to my success." Daniel stared at Victor in disbelief. $100,000 for just 2 pieces of advice? Victor shrugged. "These 2 lessons are the secret to my success. If you want them, sign the check. If not, no problem." After a moment of hesitation, Daniel signed the check and slid it across the table. "All right, tell me, where did I go wrong, and how did you get ahead?" Victor took a deep breath and said, "Listen, Daniel, the first lesson is simple. Never let your life lose balance. It's strange how a man earns money for his family, yet in the process, he forgets to give them time. That's where everything starts falling apart." Daniel frowned. "But how do I create balance?" Victor smiled. "It's easier than you think. Just talk. Talking is a powerful tool. Communicate with your family. Ask about their likes and dislikes, how their day was, what they enjoy or struggle with in college. Find out what they love about you and what they don't. Just talk. No matter how late you come home, go to them. If you're at the dinner table, engage with them. Keep reminding them that they are the reason you work so hard, that every bit of effort you put in is for them. Let them feel it." Victor leaned in and said, "Now let's move on to the second and most important lesson, understanding the difference between necessity and luxury." Daniel looked puzzled. "I don't get it." "Look, my friend, when I had enough money to buy a luxurious house for my kids, I didn't do it. Instead, I spent that money on their education, enrolling them in the best and most prestigious schools in the country. A big house could wait, but their mental development had to happen at the right time. So, whenever I faced a choice between necessity and luxury, I always chose necessity. I made every decision based on that principle. If something was truly needed, I never hesitated to spend on it. And guess what? The luxuries eventually took care of themselves." He leaned back and gestured around. "Now look at my life. More than half of my workload is handled by my children. Since we work together, the burden is lighter, and my office feels more like home." Daniel makes a silent decision in his heart. "Thanks, Victor," and leaves. What an irony. Daniel spent his life earning money for his family, and now he's spending that same money to have them back. Victor calls over the waiter whom Daniel had insulted earlier, hands him the check and says, "Pay the bill and keep the change." Then, without another word, he walks away.